So as we go through this presentation, I just want you to bear two things in mind. Number one, do you see the value of this education for yourself and probably for some of your friends and family? And secondly, do you see what I'm doing as something that is easy enough for you to learn if you wanted to? Because what you're trying to do is you're positioning it to them that I want you to see how helpful this is because I'm going to be asking you for referrals. And you also want them to think, okay, this is easy. I want to do this at some point.
Okay.
That's good. So once you do this, I love the way you did. So you just went straight into the slides. You just read it word for word. So that you can keep an eye on time. For me, what I try to do is when on this page, I just go, so these are some of the problems that are facing families today. Out of these 4 boxes, tell me which one you think is the biggest one.
Okay, yeah.
But
tell me which one do you think is the...
What did you say there?
He said, tell me which one you think is the...
Which one do you think is the biggest issue that's facing families today? I don't want to say for you, because some people are not, they're like, who are you to ask me? So that's why I normally say, tell me, which one do you think is the biggest issue facing families today?
Okay.
Because that way you're making them think, okay, so it's not just us then. Even though Lerato, you and I know that for most people that you're sitting in front of is death, isn't it? But you don't want to put that thing on them that
already,
So you want them to feel relaxed, isn't it? They say debt, and then you say, there are other issues that face families, but as we go through the presentation, I will show you how we help families in this area.
Okay, cool.
Because the reason why I move quickly through certain slides is because I know that there are certain slides that I'll spend longer time on.
More time, okay, I got you.
So for example, on this slide, it says on here that a survey was done a couple of years ago. At the time this was done, retirement age was 67, but now it's gone up to 68. And the government's plan is to increase it to 75 over the next couple of years. When this survey was done, out of 100 people reaching retirement age, only one of them was wealthy. Wealthy means they have a net worth of 2.5 million pounds and above. So net worth, that's assets minus liabilities. Only 4 were financially independent, 41 were still working, and 54 are dead broke. So Lerato, out of these 4 categories, by the time you hit your 60s, where would you like to be? 9 times out of 10, people will say wealthy. Then I'll say, so if you continue doing things the way you're doing right now, without changing anything, will you be on track to accumulating a net worth of 2.5 million pounds by the time you hit your 60s? And then you pause and you
listen. Where's that script you're saying?
So this has come from, because I used to present the business overview.
Okay.
Exactly. So that's what I say when I'm on the business overview. So that's why, if you remember, I don't spend a lot of time on a slide like this because I want to spend more time on a slide like this,
which is more impactful. Yeah,
exactly. And then if they say, and then I say, and most people will say no, IT, and I say, so that's why we exist as a company, because what we are trying to do is help people get to where they want to get to. Because would you agree that this 5% did not get here by accident? If you give me the opportunity, I'll put a financial plan together for you.
Oh, you good.
No, it's only experience, darling. So when I get on here, I read it word for word, and I say, so Jennifer is expanding, and I go, we're looking for part-time, we're looking for full-time, and then I say, the kind of people that do well in our company are people who have a sales or customer service background, people who are teachers, people who are enthusiastic, and people who are ambitious. Towards the end of the presentation, I'm going to be asking you for help because I'm looking for some really good people. Will that be okay? They say yes, and then I move on. This slide, what I do is, before I show it, I normally say this. So guys, I tend to ask people questions just so I can show you the slide that's relevant to you. Out of interest, do you have anything like credit cards, mortgages, credit card, car payments, da da da? If they say yes, I then say fantastic, you're going to love this. If they say no, I say fantastic, you don't need this.
Okay, yeah.
So when I get on here, I say, so this is a snapshot of a family's finances that we went to see a few years ago. At the time we went to see them, they had 2 credit cards, 1 personal loan and a store card. And everything that they were owing came to £20,000. By the time we went to see them, at the time we saw them, they were making just the minimum payment across everything, which came to £387.
Minimum payment across everything.
Exactly,
Yeah.
which came to 387. So just give me 2 seconds. Hey, Osato, how you doing? Darling, I'm sorry, I'm just running about 10 minutes late, yeah? So we'll start about 25 past. Would that be okay? Please, can you let Gladys know, because she also wants to come on that meeting. Thank you, darling, I appreciate you. So I then say, so by the time we came back, they then realized that if they keep making the minimum payment on this 20,000, Lerato, see how long it will take for them to finish paying it off. But more importantly, so that way you're bringing them into the conversation. But more importantly, they borrowed 20,000, sis, see how much they said they're going to pay. That means the interest alone is over £64,000. Then I'll be like, so that's Range Rover money and a half, isn't it?
Bring it back to them.
Exactly. Because, and then I'd say, so when we showed this to the family, the husband now decided that they needed to do something different. So he decided to start working with us, just seeing between 1 to 2 clients a week, earning an extra £500 on the side. The £500 that he started making, along with the strategies that we taught this client, they are now on track to come out of debt 19 years quicker. But more importantly, the interest that they're going to save is over £58,000. Lerato, can you see why the banks love this kind of families? Would you agree that there are a few families in Manchester who are just like this? And then I go, and this is why we're trying to help them. So the rule of 72. So to bring them in, I just say, so who do you bank with? Some people will say I bank with Barclays. I'll be like, right. So let's say you have £10,000 in your Barclays account today, and Barclays are paying you 3% interest. So I'll be like, oh, the rule of 72 is an old banking principle, and it just really shows how long it takes for money to double. The rule of 72,
keeping it simple, isn't it?
Exactly. The rule of 72 approximates the number of years it takes to double your money at a fixed interest rate. So on here, so I say, okay, so let's say you have £10,000 in your Barclays account, and Barclays are paying you 3% interest on that money. If you divide 72 by the interest rate, that's 24. So your £10,000 will double to £20,000 after 24 years. Then after another 24 years, which is now 48 years, you will have 40,000. How does that make you feel? Most people are like, are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah.
Then I say, what if Barclays call you and say, you know what, instead of 3%, we are now going to pay you 6. So the same rule applies. 72 divided by 6 is 12. So your money will start to double every 12 years. After 48 years, you now have 40,000 instead of 160,000. How does that make you feel? Then I'll be like, have you noticed that we doubled the interest rate from 3% to 6%, but the money at the bottom doesn't double from 40 to 80. Instead, it quadruples. Because money does not work the way we think. Here, you have 3 doubling periods, whereas here you have 1. I'll just ask, so guys, how much interest is the bank charging you on your credit card? They say 18, and I say, right. Do you know that the way banks make money is this? When somebody comes in and they want a credit card, all they will do, Lerato, is your 10,000 that they're paying you 3% interest on, they simply move it over to the credit card department, and then they lend it out at 18%. But in this example, they're only charging 12% on this credit card. So here, 72 divided by 12 is 6. So when a family take out a credit card for £10,000 and they keep making just the minimum payment, the bank's money will start to double every
Every
6 years.
6 years.
After 24 years, Lerato, you have 20,000 in your savings account, but the bank has already
Has
made
160,000.
160,000. Lerato, do you want to take a rough guess how much they would have made after 48 years? You wait for them to and you say it's actually 2.5 million pounds.
And you will have only made
40,000. So how does that make you feel? Can you see why the banks don't want us to know this? Would you agree that more families need to see this? Because again, you're planting it in their mind. Of course, all my friends need to see this. And then you go, I can teach you this so that you can teach other people.
Okay.
Because you're making it, okay, oh yes, of course. Remember, you told them, can you see if this is simple enough for me to do? So with the fortnightly repayment, this is what I do. I say, so you can see everything is so memorized that if I go off script, I'm like,
Are you like,
I know. So have you heard of the fortnightly repayment option? Some people say no. So in Genister, we teach people to pay their mortgage every 2 weeks instead of paying it once a month. Let me tell you how this works. So Lerato, if your mortgage was costing you £1,000 a month, after 12 months, how much would you have paid? You say 12,000. I say in Genister, what we say is that £1,000 divided by 2, and that's 500, isn't it? So put the 500 to one side. In a year, you have 52 weeks. 52 weeks divided by 2 is 26 weeks, isn't it? 26 weeks times £500 is actually 13,000. So when you pay your mortgage every 2 weeks, you actually pay an extra month in a year. And let me tell you how this makes a difference over a 25-year mortgage. So this family took out a 25-year mortgage. They paid it the normal way. This family, the same 25-year mortgage, by paying it off every 2 weeks, they shaved 5 years off their mortgage. But more importantly, the interest that they saved is over 52,000 because the interest on your mortgage is calculated daily. When you pay your mortgage once a month, the bank will charge you 30 days worth of interest. Exactly. But when you pay it every 2 weeks, they charge you for 14 days, you reduce it, and then they charge you for another 14 days. And then I go, would you agree that this 52,000 can send your child to university? If they're mortgage owners already, I say, so when you decide to keep paying your mortgage monthly, technically you're giving your child's tuition fees to Barclays. That's not good, is it? And then we just make it laugh. And then I say, would you agree that more of your friends who own properties could do with saying this? They say yes, and then I move on. I'll teach you how to do that another time. But this one, what I do is, as soon as they say goose, I say fantastic. So in this example, you are actually the geese because you are the breadwinners and your possessions are the eggs. So I ask the question, so do you guys have life insurance on yourselves right now? If they say yes, I say fantastic. You guys are among the top 5% that I go to see because most people have no life insurance, but they protected their iPhone. You know, just something to make them laugh. And then if they say no, I say fantastic. So do you drive? They say yes. How much do you pay on your car insurance? They say maybe £50. If you sell your car today, how much will you get? How much will you get? They say maybe 2,000. And then I say, so a car that is worth £2,000, you're insuring it with £50 every month. If it's a partner, if it's a husband and wife, I'll turn to the wife. I'll be like, would you agree that Teji is worth more than £2,000 to you? They say yes. And I say, so guys, in this example, you have protected your egg, that is your car. But you who is the goose, you have no protection. Let me show you how life really works. So when we start out in life, most people have more liabilities than assets. On this side of life, that's when people tend to have young children, they have debt and they have a mortgage. God forbid, if anything should happen to one of the breadwinners, the person who is left behind becomes the sole carer and the sole provider. That means a house that had 2 salaries will now have 1 salary. But as life goes on, what should happen is your liability should reduce and your assets should increase. So that by the time you get to this side, your children are grown, debts are paid, the mortgage is paid off, and God forbid, even if anything happened on this side, because you have more assets than liabilities, the family will be fine. So with life insurance, what you're doing is you are protecting your family for the period where your family is exposed. So that by the time you get to your later years and you have done the right things with your money, you no longer need life insurance. So Lerato, if you look at this graph, where would you say you are? They say, oh my God, we are in today. And I say, fantastic. And then I say, and I just go and I say, I completely agree with you. I did not understand life insurance, but this is something my CEO said. I read that bad boy. I love the way you did it. But for me, on this slide, I'll only call out accidental death.
Okay.
On this slide, this is where you sell Vitality. So we use a company called Vitality because most companies do critical illness cover, and that typically covers 30 to 40 of the most severe conditions. But Vitality, they do serious illness cover, and it covers in excess of 170 conditions, and it pays out based on severity. So let me explain what this means. When a client has a critical illness policy, and God forbid they have a stroke, the policy will only pay out if that stroke leaves the person paralyzed. But Lerato, you and I know that not everybody stays paralyzed because of a stroke, because people recover after a couple of weeks. What Vitality do is they pay out based on how severe that condition is, especially for people who are self-employed that have no sick pay. That's important to them because it means that they have money in the account while they are recovering. That's a good thing, isn't it? And then I just come on this page and I say, ooh, and they also reward you for being healthy. The more exercise you do, the cheaper your premiums. How awesome is that? Then I go to this page and I say, so Lerato, if you have a look at this page, would you agree that most families would have a need in at least one or more of these areas? So I get them to read it. So they're like, ooh, ooh. And I say, fantastic. I'll be honest and say, I haven't helped everybody in every single area yet. However, most people, what happens is I help them in one area. After a couple of years, they come back. And then I go to this page. I say, a large number of people need the kind of support that Jennister offers. Would you agree that more families need to see the education that I've just shown you? They say yes. If we could help you become financially independent through helping others, would you be interested in learning more about our business? As soon as they say yes, invite them to the webinar.
Okay.
So that way they get to hear about the business. And at this point, I then go, oh, by the way, remember, I did say I was going to ask you for help because I'm looking for some really good people. I'm going to describe some people to you. Tell me the first two names that comes to mind. Among your friends, who would you say are two of the most ambitious people? I pause. Ooh, so why did you say Funa is ambitious? She bakes, da 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 da. Oh my God! And how do you know Funa? And then I just keep going. My aim is to get 3 from them, and then I say, fantastic. We'll come back to these. You killed this one. You were just spot on. So the only thing I'll say is when you ask this question, do you currently have a written plan? And they say no. Would you like me to help you put a free financial plan together? They say yes. I say fantastic. Would you like me to help you put a free financial plan that will confirm that you guys are on track right now?
Okay, yeah.
So technically, it's only when they say yes to a plan that you go to this page.
Okay.
Because technically, this page, you're saying that when I return. So if they haven't said yes to a plan, you ain't returning anywhere, are you?
Okay, that's true. That's true. Yes.
sense?
So it's only if they say, yes, I want that financial plan.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's
why, yeah, when I return and show you a plan. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. So that's why you need to ask the question in such a way that you get a yes. And then if they say no, you just say fantastic. I always go with this. So what did you like best about the education that I've just shown you? And then I get that bit and then I say fantastic. So remember Fruna, you said she's ambitious. I would love the opportunity to invite her to the webinar that my CEO is hosting tomorrow. What I'll do is I will send you a text so that you can send it to her and then just let her know that I'll give her a call. Is that okay? So Funa's number is 07. Pause. 8 times out of 10, your client will pick up their phone and give you the rest of the number. But if you say, can I have the number? That's when people go, Then just go, Funa's number is 07.
Mm.
They 8 times out of 10, I guarantee you, they'll give you the number.
Okay. Yeah, that you like. I'm learning from the experts here.
Honestly, Ifoma is phenomenal. She is phenomenal.
She's been really good as well.
Honestly, you are insane. And that's the beauty of me doing the role play, because it means I can just help you tweak it a little bit.
Yeah, and it also helps me understand it a bit. So it's not just like monotonous reading it off.
Exactly. So what I'm going to do is, when I have some scoops that are in the evenings, I will let you know.
Okay.
So that you can just come observe.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Then because that's what I do. That's what I did. I observed different people, and then that way I was able to
refine it and make it like a really good one.
Exactly. So the fundamentals are the same. The only difference between you and I is I always try to draw my clients in. So what I will do is I will send you this recording, because I think it will help.
Yeah.
And then don't worry. One thing is, you should be so proud of yourself. You've got into the role play.
Thanks.
Some people don't even get here, but not only have you got into the role play, you already have an appointment booked. I'm so proud of you, and I'm excited.
Thank you. I'm gonna watch the recording back again, make my notes, and then start practicing. And I'll say to my boyfriend that I'll practice on him as well, so that on Sunday I'm more prepared. I'm ready.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if possible, when you're practicing with your boyfriend, let him have his laptop somewhere else.
Okay.
Share the screen with him, so that you can
so that he can see. Yeah. So that he can. So I know that it's working as well.
Definitely. You're not mad at me for running off now, are you?
No. Thank you so much for your time as well. That's helped me really clarify, because I was like going through it. I'm like, it's a lot of information. How do I explain this? How do I explain this?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna copy it word for